Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, and hi to everyone and who joined this Saturday meeting. Thank you, Romeo, and the Ecomo Scientific Committee Chair Bill Heritage for organizing this event and also inviting me to give a short presentation. And to start my presentation, I would like to ask just a simple question on which is share heritage in Thailand and where do they exist. And a study during the past few years by the Thai researcher has shown that there are a number of shared heritage in Thailand dating from Ayutthaya period that Luke and Maria already present us. And then even more than that, Thailand is located in the center of the mainland Southeast Asia between the South China Sea and the Indian Ocean, where climate is suitable for agriculture. And with high quality of rice products, Thailand had become a center of agricultural product trading, and that was when sharing culture was started. And to understand a clear definition of shares, for me, I think it's good to understand in the term of we sharing knowledge, we are sharing in terms of know-how, technology, craftsmanship, and also the wisdom. And for heritage, heritage could means anything valued by people today, and that was also valued by people in the past time. And I think we now think about how to pass this value to our future generation. And the background photo in this slide, what you see here from Ayutthaya architecture here, the church in Ayutthaya, the Galawa here of the interior inside, the construction at Ananta Smakom. Also, what you can see here, we shares not only architecture, but in terms of technology and also the setting of the built environment here as well. Well, once I've seen this image, I think this is a very interesting one when this image represents the contrast between the back and the front part. The European looking building at the back, and also of the workers at the front. They are immigrants from the China mainland who work as a worker at the site construction. This building designed by the Italian architect that Romeo already present us about that. And I think this image present well what has been going on during 1830 to 1930. And to have a clear perspective about the situation of shared heritage in Thailand during the 19th to 20th century today, I think we must include the past, present, and future that I will brief you quickly during this 20 minutes. And to understand the parts of the shared heritage, historical documents, historical archive, and mapping are good tools of understanding what was happening in the past in terms of foundation and evolution. I think the most important influence in the during the Ratanakosin era was the arrival of different groups of people to Siam during the 1830s, including missionary groups from the US who represent as the American Missionary Association. At that time, the uncommon building styles called bungalow house was invented to house residential, clinics, school, and publishing. And the bungalow house has 2-story high, built by brick wall here, and at the above level, they're all built by timber frame with a large veranda on the elevated floor and for the daytime uses, since it is well ventilated. What you see the differences here on the left photograph, it represent the house of Dr. Bradley, who is known as an important person in the Thai history. He brought many new technology to Thailand, from the medical to the publishing to Thai society. And on the other side here, there are school for the girls and all for the boys here. This is new looking, interesting. And what you see here, the ground floor is very, very high ceiling. I guess this could make the building quite ventilate well at the ground floor level, because the heat will floating up to the ceiling. Right. The other important influence we could see here after the commission of Baring Treaty in 1856, there were more Europeans who came to Bangkok and Siam as traders. Until the King Rama V, the idea of civilized town was invented after his return from Europe and his stay in Singapore. Later, John Crunish, who was part of the team who built the government house in Singapore, was invited to work as a royal architect who repaired and constructed the grand palaces. Here is some sketch, and also the other buildings that was demolished probably hundreds of years ago. Then, with the idea of civilization during the time, the new infrastructure, the new train line and the tram line were rapidly constructed toward the new palaces in the northeast. We call this area Dusit area, and the town was expanding to the east side of Bangkok. The new power plant is in this area, and also we got the waterworks around here. And also we have the post office close nearby the power plant as well. And this all new infrastructure parallel to the town expansion as well. The settlement of the foreigners at that time was mainly along the new road, which is the area here that Luke talked about it previously, about the foreign, they stay close by the river. And also what is here, we call this area Phương Nakhon Road, is really close to the Grand Palace, where was in this place. All the people from the palaces can walk in this area because they were full of store. This is what it looked like, two-story building. Downstairs is used for the shops and retails, and upstairs sometimes for storage and residence as well. But in the south, we call on the Charan Krung Road, where it's connected to the warehouse offices and also the residential area of all the foreigners who used to live in this area. And here is the sample of the house that exists in the area of Bang Rak. But I went to one of, I have seen once, visit one last year. Right. And by the end of the 1925, the building typology was expanding to include palaces, mansion, villas, hospital, infrastructure, offices, school buildings, factory building, department store, and etc. What you see here, we have school building, the building in the palace, the offices, the store, religious building, department store, factory, and also part of the palace, which is similar, which is one type of the residence. And here again, what you see, variety of character of the building, from the one that used for the public to the residential one. The one with the open plan is good for house or the public space. The train station here, the Hua Lamphong train station, the Makassar's train station, the East Asiatics warehouse, which is now converted into a new use. Also the office building with a single corridor type looking building and offices. And we have so many types of interesting looking building in that they were designed by different background from the architect. And their design always related to where they are. And here there are some more buildings in different styles. The religious building, the accommodation of the priests, and also the nun who stay in Assumption Church in Bangkok area. And interesting one here is the medical place and also the hospital and the palaces. And also we have a hotel who designed by the architect who came from the European area as well. Right, after we've seen so many types of buildings and the architecture. Here are some architects who work with the Thai government, and some of them were served for the Thai government later on. And these architects produce remarkable design in according to their experiences and background of where they're from in the last decade. There are a great number of researchers and books in Thailand that help us to understand the past life of this building and also the architect as well. And now we're going to move on to the present time. After the 1982, as the occasion of 200 years anniversary of the Ratanakosin era, conservation was proposed to a number of important buildings located on the Ratanakosin Island after the announcement of conservation area. Important buildings were proposed for new uses that related to enhancement of culture and education. For example, a conservation of the Royal Mint factory was relocated to elsewhere, and the place was converted into the art school and then the National Art Gallery. Later, a number of the interesting buildings were proposed for museum after its redundancy. My research published last year have shown that the most conservation project was related to adaptation and also changing of use this Western looking building to have such new life. This diagram represents of the rising trend of changing the building during the millennium years. Here, especially the invention of the major project like the conversion of the Ministry of Commerce to house a learning space here as a museum Siam. Again, the trend of conversion was then increasing lastly after the completion of the Museum Siam in 2008, along with the other conversion project like the conversion of the John Samson store to house King Prachatipak Museum, Bangkok Museum in Bangkok, and rehabilitation of shop house on Phathit Road. And for the museum used here, this is part of my research finished in 2015. I also written in, this is also written in English publication called Creative Reuse of Western Style Buildings Constructed Between 1851 and 1925 in Bangkok for museum use. What I found it here for the museum use, it usually use the building in such similar way, such as adaptation, modification of buildings' characters, providing minor change to the existing building, because some buildings were already listed by the fine art department. Fitting concept of the existing building is mainly replacement. And if the building provides a large room space, the fitting of the exhibition is always movable in according to fit with the concept of minor change. However, perception of the building may be changed due to amendment of the main entrance to the building, and that visitor may gain different experience to what had happened in the past time. And here is the art gallery at my university, Silpakorn University. The palace inside the university was converted into the art gallery, and all the other door and window are closed. The main entrance is here. We arrive at the front and we walk past all the reception and we walk inside the building. The stair here, you can go downstairs or you can go upstairs. You walk in the exhibition and you come out the way as you walk in. And the inside of the gallery is clear, and we preserve well with the physical of the building is preserved very well. And all the exhibition are removable, right? And after the 2012, there are more shared heritage required for commercial uses because there's special characteristic that is useful for branding. And for commercial use like shops and retails, hostels and hotel and restaurant, the building are facing change differently, and this depend on expectation of new users regarding program performance and the existing building itself in terms of building capacity and space. And on the other hand, some buildings may suffering from modification from overuse and branding. Right, I think it's important for the conservationists to also think about the issue regarding tangible and intangible aspects that we should discuss on which is should provide us a good way of doing this in terms of what kind of method and process in order to restore, repair, reconstruction this building in order to fit with the uses, or what kind of technique that is friendly to the building fabric, and how much money should we spend on each project. And to answer this question, I think we have to look back and learn what we have done and experienced so far. Otherwise, conservation these buildings may be perceived as an too expensive project and time consuming. I think a good craftsmanship also another important issue that need to discuss this day, because a number of artisans are required by skill and training. Traditional techniques of conservation also needs further investigation, such knowledge and technique in order to work with today's material and substance. And to conclude the presentation sections shortly, event conservation works have been continuously success. Many buildings are turned redundancy again after adaptation and reuse, and the number of buildings were demolished recently. And with this image brought sadness to many who associate to the building and the other who is priest and pride of the art of work. And I'm going to leave this with question mark here. During the recent years, we had been lost a number of buildings from different reasons, from coincidentally mistaken decision, new development, wrong process, and etc. Hopefully, some buildings with strong program can continue within the society once they are in use. They have been part of everyday experience. And I think the challenge is about the method and also the process or event promotion that would help this heritage to face the situation of expensive land value, change from conversion and adaptation towards the nostalgic and photo posting trend that pressure the building to lose its authenticity as well as originality. Another challenge is how the building may find such a good long-term use in order to protect the building from frequent change. To conclude it here, I think it is important that conservation of this heritage will be pursuing in terms of how to understand the past, the present, and future in order to forwarding this shared heritage to the next generation. How to understand this shared value and how to promote the significance of the shared heritage as a shared value as well, and how to enhance attention from both the occupancy and also the public. And importantly, we should discuss about how we're going to do with this building in terms of conservation, rehabilitation, and maintenance. And definitely funding is the most important thing. Also to help the enhance of the activity, plus is also supported all conservation works. Thank you.